We are back now with new details in the murder trial of the man accused of killing Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. Suspect Jose Antonio Ibarra will return to court this morning as he faces 10 charges, including felony murder and kidnapping with bodily injury. Riley was found dead after going for a run back in February, with her killing later becoming a flashpoint in the immigration debate leading up to this year's election. Prosecutors are now laying out graphic details about what they claim happened the day Riley was killed.
He went hunting for females on the University of Georgia's campus. When Laken Riley refused to be his rape victim, he bashed her skull in with a rock repeatedly.
NBC News correspondent Priya Sridhar joins us now from Athens, Georgia, with the details. Priya, good morning. So, prosecution here seeking life in prison without parole in this case. We just heard a little bit of what went down in this courtroom so far, but bring us up to speed on the new evidence that has been presented. There's some bombshells here and where things stand today as we head into day two.
Good morning, Savannah. Yeah, day two actually just began a few minutes ago. And as you heard there, the state prosecutor not mincing words at all. She says that Jose Ibarra can be tied to the murder of Laken Riley, and she has forensic, digital, and video evidence to prove it. She says that DNA was found underneath Laken Riley's fingernails during that struggle that ensued between her and Ibarra that can be tied to Jose Ibarra himself. They also say that they were able to recover a fingerprint from Laken Riley's cell phone that they also were able to tie back to Jose Ibarra. On Friday, as you can imagine, the testimony was extremely powerful. About 30 or so of Laken Riley's family members were inside of the courtroom, and some of them actually had to step outside numerous times when some of those more graphic pieces of evidence were presented to the judge. Now, the defense, for its part, has actually, obviously Jose Ibarra has pleaded not guilty, I should say, to all of these charges. And last week, he waived his right to a jury trial, which means this is all being conducted as a bench trial. So the judge in this case will be determining his fate and any potential sentencing. But they're responding to the opening statements from the prosecution by saying that all of this evidence is circumstantial and that they cannot prove that any sexual assault was conducted between Jose Ibarra and Laken Riley. And they're essentially trying to pursue a strategy of creating a margin of reasonable doubt by saying that perhaps it was one of Jose Ibarra's family members who lived with him in that apartment not too far away from where Laken Riley's body was found, who was at the scene of the crime that day, Savannah.
Yeah, let's talk more about what we're hearing from witnesses. So a number of them, you've mentioned some of this. They include Riley's 3 roommates, as well as the officer who found her body. Tell us some more details from what we heard from them and who we may see on the witness stand today.
That's right, Savannah. So we did hear from all 3 of Laken Riley's roommates who really presented sort of a chronological timeline of what happened that morning when she left their apartment to go out for her morning jog. She never came back, obviously, and they were looking for her frantically using the app Find My Friends. Eventually, they discovered an AirPod, which is what prompted them to call the University of Georgia campus police. It was later then that an Athens Clark County police officer actually discovered Laken Riley's body. He also had some chilling testimony on Friday as that body camera video that he was wearing from that day was played when he came upon Laken Riley's body. There was also audio that was presented while the 911 dispatcher took the stand of that phone call that Laken Riley attempted to make that day. Now, we're expecting to hear, obviously, more witnesses take the stand today, including potentially the medical examiner that conducted the autopsy on Laken Riley's body. We also are expecting to hear from another University of Georgia student who prosecutors say said that a man was attempting to get into her apartment about 6 different times that same morning that Laken Riley was murdered. Prosecutors now say that they have identified that man as Jose Ibarra through surveillance video. Savannah.
Priya, very quickly, can you tell us anything we understand so far about the defense's strategy or plan here?
Yeah, so what the defense is saying is, though, even though prosecutors are saying that they could ping Jose Ibarra's cell phone off the cell phone towers near to where that Laken Riley's body was discovered, that they can't prove without a reasonable doubt that Jose Ibarra himself was holding that cell phone. He lived with 3 different people in an apartment near to where the body was found. 2 of those happened to be his family members. So they're really trying to say that that the prosecutors can't definitively say that it was Jose Ibarra himself who was holding that phone.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.